was with me through both diagnoses, and he himself lost a mother at age 15. He was 15 when his mother died of a very horrible breast cancer. So our communication usually was me asking a question: how can you stand this? You have two women in your life. And he said, you're two different women, two different cancers. And I thought, okay, we'll be all right. I miss my breast, don't you? Because he hadn't said anything. I had one breast, and we're, in our mid-20s. Of course I do. He looks at me and doesn't miss a beat. So I knew, again, we're on the same page. But oftentimes I had to ask questions. And sometimes, whether it was friends who start crying and you don't want them to, mom who's misinterpreting because I'm not telling her everything, things happen where we are the ones, the survivors, who are reassuring the other ones.
I never told my mother.
Because you didn't want her to worry.
I found it extremely difficult to tell my siblings. I'm the youngest of 4, and especially one of my brothers, he's 10 years older than I am, and he was always my protector and thought that he could fix anything that ever happened to me. And in that case, I really was the one reassuring.
Say with children, I think it's very important to reassure them, but I think, at least with mine, they were really looking at how I handled it. They were looking at my behavior far more than the words that came out of my mouth. And that, in a way, put more of a burden on me, because I realized that everything I was doing was setting a standard or a role model for them. So I think that's why I've had a delayed reaction, because I was determined that they were going to treat it as everyone has a crisis in their life at some point in time, and this is just how you handle it, and this is what you do.
When I was so concerned that I was going to die, at some point I had to recognize that whatever happened, it was going to be okay. And if my husband had to take care of these children himself, it was going to be okay. He was going to do a great job. And as sad as that made me, what a wonderful thing, what a wonderful place to get with the person that you're co-parenting with, that you realize he could have done it. It wouldn't have been ideal, but he could have done it. And that's really a gift that I've taken with me going forward, just knowing not only was he a support to me, but I could actually get to a peaceful place where I thought, I hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, everybody in this family is going to be okay.
How did you talk to children or grandchildren about your disease or your diagnosis? And was it hard, and do you have any fears that you may have passed this on to whether you've been genetic tested or not, have you been in fear of passing this disease on, and what did that look like?
I had teenagers on my second diagnosis. They were 13 and 15, and I went for my biopsy, so they kind of knew something was going on, and I left little hints when I got the phone call at home. And with the second diagnosis, I wasn't devastated, I wasn't blown out of the water, I was highly annoyed. I was thinking of them constantly, which I had not had that experience the first time. So what I did was present to them in the most positive way what happened, because I got the call and the doctor said it's ductal carcinoma in situ. I said, what is that? He said, stage 0 cancer, very treatable, curable. That's what I took away. I have a treatable cancer. And they heard those words, I'm going to be okay, and I really truly believe this. That said, I had a mastectomy, and I think that had a huge impact on my 13-year-old daughter, who, as an artist in college, does a self-portrait with one breast. Just about kills me.
But I think that's what breast cancer brings, this sort of potluck of emotion, and some days that you think are going to be terribly difficult are miraculously okay, and some days that you think are going to be okay, you can sort of barely get yourself through. But in terms of the children, it is amazing how they do. It is amazing. It is amazing to me now how they did. They did just fine. They did just fine.
Well, that life doesn't have to end with cancer. I think that life goes on, and you still have goals, and you still have dreams, and whatever those look like, whether they're children or it's other things, whether it's professional or personal goals, that things can really go on after cancer. And great things happen after cancer.